Channel 12, WSFA, Montgomery. From Alabama's News Center, this is WSFA News 12, the 6 o'clock report.
Good evening, I'm Dean Argo. Representatives from North Carolina tried to talk other members of the Southeast Compact Commission to put off for 6 months a decision about where to locate the Southeast's next low-level nuclear waste dump. But Commission members voted to go ahead and make a decision on July 14th. North Carolina is the most likely place to locate the dump, but Alabama is listed second. North Carolina argued that their state's ranking is based on outdated and inaccurate data, and they wanted the decision delayed for further study. But one of Alabama's commission members, Fred Braswell, says there's enough data present for the commission to go ahead and vote.
The Technical Advisory Committee is going to be presenting is not likely to affect that date. Now, we may adjust some of the numbers and accept some of their data that would suggest a change, but I think that could be done in a meeting on July the 14th.
I was just stating several states are prepared to present clear on that before making these statements today. But
several of the
A North Carolina state representative has introduced a bill in that state's legislature to withdraw North Carolina from the commission. Should that happen, Alabama would then become the #1 choice for that dump. The AT&T communication workers strike will enter into its 3rd week tomorrow, one of the long-distance phone company's busiest days. As Scott Adcock reports tonight, phone officials in Montgomery are getting by while strikers continue to sit and wait it out.
2 weeks ago today, the Communication Workers of America went on strike against AT&T. Union members contend that the phone company is cutting out cost of living raises and wage incentive programs. Since the strike began, AT&T in Montgomery has hired close to 100 new workers to replace striking union members.
Operator, may I help you?
Despite some customer complaints, phone company managers say operations are going smoothly and they are standing firm on their position.
I think the company's position is that a fair offer has been made. The company is asking for no give-backs, and we're asking the Communication Workers of America to accept the fair offer that we have made.
Talks between union members and the company have been conducted on a daily basis since the strike began. Local strikers say they are also standing firm on their position.
We still will not give back anything. We still want the cost of living, the wage differentials. We also want the wage incentives in manufacturing. So our members are still strong out here, and they intend to be out here until we get the justice we deserve.
Union members say AT&T is losing $40 million a day because of the strike, and they want to see a settlement soon.
Our cause is a just cause. And as soon as the company realizes the just cause, then we'll be back in there doing the quality of work that they need done at this time.
Most of the operators are young adults earning summer money on their school break. Others are just earning an extra income. Nevertheless, it's a learning process.
It's been a constant training process. As we have brought in a great number of new employees, we've had to teach them the job very quickly, but they are making progress.
Bland says tomorrow will be the busiest day for these new operators since the strike began, but she says she doesn't anticipate any problems, so you should still be able to reach out and touch your dad. Scott Adcock, WSFA News 12, Montgomery.
NASA officials have released a videotape that backs up the former head of the rocket booster program, who contends that he passed on concerns about defects in the shuttle's boosters. NASA says the newly found videotape shows Lawrence Malloy, who headed the project office at Marshall Space Flight Center, discussing the history of the joint seal problems with top space agency managers nearly a year before the Challenger disaster. Meanwhile, 2 possibilities are being considered for redesigning the space shuttle's solid rocket boosters, and NASA engineers in Huntsville say their decision could be made in about 2 months. A Montgomery man is in serious condition tonight at Jackson Hospital, suffering from at least 1 stab wound to the upper thigh. Police Department spokesman Lieutenant Larry Armstead says officers found Robert Griffin at 1608 Hall Street lying in the bathtub and had lost a considerable amount of blood. Police say the man is in his late 20s and was allegedly stabbed by a man, but his name has not been released. Armstead says the man was transported to Jackson Hospital around 5 o'clock this afternoon with at least 1 stab wound and is in serious condition. At least 6 people have died in weekend accidents across the state, including a Wetumpka man. State troopers say 23-year-old Thomas Earl Jackson of Wetumpka was killed in a 1-vehicle accident last night in Elmore County. Troopers say Jackson's car struck a driveway curbing and overturned. A 3-year-old Montgomery girl and a Montgomery County woman are in critical condition tonight, and a Millbrook teenager is now undergoing surgery after a head-on collision this afternoon. Lisa Walsh reports tonight that all accident victims may live to tell about the serious crash, thanks to some people who weren't afraid to get involved.
People who heard the crash arrived at the scene first. State troopers say there are no witnesses. Many driving down State Highway 331 this morning saw the need for help and immediately jumped out of their cars to aid the emergency medical technicians. Bob Coley was a half a mile away when he heard the vehicles collide. He rushed to the scene and took 3-year-old Brandy Cockrell of Montgomery out of the smashed Toyota. The injured child lay strapped inside a car seat, which may have saved her life.
I've got several grandkids, and it really does make me think about the safety belts from now on out. I guarantee you that.
Fortunately, a doctor from Kentucky was driving to Florida for vacation when he encountered the accident. Dr. William Davis acted swiftly, halting his trip to lend a skilled hand.
We have a doctor on the scene, a family practitioner from out of state who stopped by. He's requesting that we get an order for fluid on the baby.
Another who answered the call for help was David Merrill of the Southern Montgomery County Rescue Squad.
I've never seen nothing like it before. Not no head-on collision, and one come in on one side and one direct into it.
Troopers say apparently the car driven by 19-year-old Kathy Bonilla of Millbrook swerved into the path of the truck driven by 37-year-old Mary Fleming of Sprague. A nursing supervisor at Jackson Hospital in Montgomery says all 3 victims are expected to live. Lisa Walsh, WSFA News 12, Montgomery County.
All the major candidates are gearing up for tomorrow night's Alabama Public Television debate. We'll have that and more right after this. Stay with us.
What makes Dairy Queen's new Homestyle hamburger so special? Could it be the juicy all-beef quarter-pound Homestyle patty? Or is it the fresh lettuce and tomatoes? Or the tangy taste of ketchup, mayonnaise, and pickles? Or the delicious sesame seed bun? All I know is the taste is just like home. What more could you ask for? Dairy Queen, you treat me right. The Homestyle hamburger, just 99 cents all month.
When you come to Dairy Queen, we treat you right.
I really like living in Alabama. I like the weather, the people. It's home. And I like doing business at home. That's why I've got Farm Bureau Auto Insurance. I get good coverage, fast claim service, and I'm even saving a few dollars. Yes, sir. Makes me feel real good knowing the money I'm spending for the things I need is staying right here at home.
Right now, when you need it most, comes a taste that's truly amazing.
Hello? Oh, hi. Can I call you back later? Okay, bye.
Real Minute Maid juices and vitamins in a soda. Now that's amazing. New Minute Maid soda in lemon, lime, or orange.
Gubernatorial candidate Charles Graddick continues his campaigning in North Alabama this afternoon. That's where Graddick garnered the least amount of votes in the June 3rd primary. Graddick, his wife Corinne, and several staff members left Montgomery around 2 this afternoon for several campaign stops in Huntsville before returning to the capital city later tonight. Graddick says he's growing more confident of a runoff win as the days pass and expects to be the Democratic nominee for governor.
The point is that we're talking issues. We're talking about what needs to be done in Alabama for our future generations, what needs to be done now to discontinue the old and get into the new and take us into the 1990s. And I don't know what's up his sleeve, but we're going to continue to talk about the same things we have for several months now.
Graddick will join opponent Bill Baxley tomorrow night in a debate which will be broadcast by Alabama Public TV beginning at 6 p.m. While on the subject of Bill Baxley, Graddick says he hasn't heard anything from federal or local authorities about the investigation into Bill Rushton's alliance with Baxley. Rushton is alleged to have used his position as director of the Alabama Department of Economic and Community Affairs, which allocates federal grants to influence votes for Baxley. Graddick says if Rushton is guilty of the charges, a criminal investigation is called for.
The sound of a full orchestra at the touch of a button. The synthesizer is putting professional musicians out of work.
washer, dryer connections, a trash disposal, and a dishwasher? Do you want all the extras like a fireplace, microwave, extra-large bedrooms, and spacious walk-in closets? Do you want to live in one of the nicest areas in town? Do you want lower utility bills? Of course you want all these things. At Shady Oak Villas, an Alabama Power Good Sits Home apartment, the pieces fit together for only $435 a month.
I've been out looking all over the local car lots, and I'll tell you, there's a lot of new cars and trucks in dealer inventories. Now I have to do this to make sure that Southern States Ford has the maximum saving deal for you. That means the lowest cash price, and if you finance, that means the lowest down payment, as low as 5% of the price if you got the credit, and the lowest finance rates. We always try to stay lower than the factory incentives. You might say, we'll go to any heights to make sure you get the maximum saving deal at Southern States Ford, because we're dealing.
Southern States Ford, 2 great locations, Montgomery.
I really like living in Alabama. I like the weather, the people. It's home. And I like doing business at home. That's why I've got Farm Bureau Auto Insurance.
KAB, TV 32, Montgomery.
Newswatch 32, The Weekend Report, with Sally Lewis and Alan Rice, Sports.
Good evening, I'm Sally Lewis. A Montgomery man is listed in stable condition tonight following a stabbing in West Montgomery. Police spokesman Larry Armstead says 32-year-old Robert Griffin was stabbed once in the leg this afternoon on the 1600 block of South Hall Street. Griffin apparently made it back to his home, where police found him lying in his bathtub after losing a considerable amount of blood. Police say they haven't made any arrests in the case yet, although they do have a suspect. And state troopers say at least 6 people have died in weekend accidents on Alabama highways, including a 23-year-old Wetumpka man. Troopers say Thomas Earl Jackson was killed when his car overturned in Elmore County last night. 3 people from Millbrook were seriously injured today, including a 3-year-old girl in a head-on collision on Highway 331. The accident happened this morning about 10 miles south of Montgomery. All the injured have been taken to Jackson Memorial Hospital. With a little more than a week left before the June 24th runoff, many of the candidates for statewide offices aren't wasting any time. Jim Folsom Jr., a candidate for lieutenant governor, is stepping back into the ring, challenging his opponent, Senator John Teague, to drop his negative campaign advertisements and instead make this an issue-oriented campaign. Earlier today, Folsom said he has plenty of ammunition to use against Teague, such as a copy of a lawsuit filed by an insurance company against him in Jefferson County Circuit Court.
I'll remove all negative advertising from TV, and I think he should too. And let's talk about, in the last week of this campaign, let's talk about our record and what we can do for the state of Alabama.
Folsom says he will wait to hear from Teague before pulling any of his negative ads. Meanwhile, Senator Teague has scheduled a news conference for tomorrow where he says he will respond to Folsom's challenge. Ralph Holmes, Teague's campaign spokesman, says he doesn't think the ad should be labeled negative. He says they've all been based on facts about Folsom. Both candidates will face each other tomorrow night in a debate which will be broadcast on Alabama Public Television. Following that debate, the 2 candidates for state treasurer will go head-to-head. Earlier today, candidate Jim Sigler accused the Alabama State Employees Association of making a, quote, backroom political deal by endorsing his opponent, George Wallace Jr. Ziegler claims he lost the group's support because of fear that if elected, he would interfere with the state employee retirement system, which he says is absolutely absurd. The association's executive director says they are supporting Wallace because of Ziegler's comments that he would put more state investments in Alabama, including state pension funds. But Ziegler says the group misunderstood his remarks, and he plans to ask them to reconsider their endorsement. Coming up next on Newswatch 32, ticket sales are up at the Alabama Shakespeare Festival, and so is Montgomery's economy. That story next.
Southern Trails means more than the state-of-the-art in sleeping bags, tents, and backpacks. Southern Trails means having a great time in rugged outdoor wear that looks good, but is tough enough for your favorite water slide or rendezvous with nature. Come see Southern Trails' complete line of outdoor wear and gear and chat with an experienced outfitter. They've got the right stuff. Southern Trails, now in the Village East Shopping Center.
maybe I'm just a little bit lonely.
Now, how could you be lonely with us around?
Yeah. Yeah. You need a little action.
We're going to give your daddy our special introductory offer. Now, when would you like to surprise him?
I'm your daddy's date.
You are?
Uh-oh.
Monday at 6:30 on WKAB TV.
When actor Tony Randall called the Alabama Shakespeare Festival the greatest Shakespeare house on earth, he probably wasn't even thinking of the new $21.5 million complex in terms of what it would do for tourism in the capital city. $12 million is the amount Chamber of Commerce officials are estimating the Shakespeare Festival will pump into the city's economy in the first year of operation alone, with people coming from all over the state and nation to get a taste of Shakespeare.
There are a lot of events that happen in Montgomery, but they only happen for 3 weeks, and then they're not performing again for another month or so. What the festival has to offer is that at least 5 days out of every week, there is something going on.
Chamber of Commerce officials say an estimated 165,000 people will visit the theater this year, 75% coming from out of town. They say occupancy rates in the city are higher this year and significantly higher than 2 years ago, some of which can be attributed to the festival. But many of the hotel owners I spoke with in East Montgomery say although business is better this year, they're not sure how much can be traced to out-of-towners here for the theater. It's a different story for many restaurant owners who say business has been booming since the festival opened its doors.
Our restaurant business has picked up quite a bit. We just opened our new restaurant a few months ago, and the business is up 30% over last year.
We have been able to notice when the Shakespeare Festival starts that we're going to be busy earlier, that we're going to have more people in because they're going to the play and they want to come in and eat before it or after it. As a matter of fact, one time we had to get a copy of the plays so that we could adjust our schedules and so forth so we would know when the plays were going to be and when the people would be coming in.
This weekend, festival officials are celebrating what they call the most dramatic theater ticket increase in history, reaching their 100,000 mark in just 7 months of operation. That, of course, will eventually trickle down into Montgomery's economy. Still to come, Al Rice has highlights of the Blue-Gray softball tournament and a look at the U.S. Open. Don't go away.
I'm having a great birthday.
Yeah? Are you hungry yet?
Yeah. You know, seafood would be nice.
Seafood?
Lobster's my favorite.
I think it's out of season.
Steak would be good, too.
I think steak's out of season, too.
Now at Sizzler, get steak and lobster without getting pinched.
So, what can I get you now?
Diamond earrings would be nice.
Definitely out of season.
Sizzler.
Now is the time to break your old news habit. Montgomery's own Mac Carmack heads up the team for News Watch 32. Meet Michelle Hicks, co-anchor, Rick Derrick, late-night co-anchor, Paul Osman with the weather and environmental news. Then for national, state, and local sports, Chris Treston. The capital city is ready. We challenge you. Break that habit. Join Mac Carmack's team, News Watch 32 at 6 and 10, weeknights on WKAB TV.
Well, the great white shark from Australia continues to dominate the U.S. Open. Despite running into a bit of trouble on the 13th hole today, the winds were strong on Long Island, but Greg Norman managed to stay right on top. On the 5th, Norman hitting out of a trap. Take a look. We'll take a look at some of the highlights. He gets a perfect roll, lays it near that hole. That means if he can tap it in, he goes up by 3. Norman, with a confident tap, makes the birdie putt. But chasing him the entire day, the mature but not forgotten Lee Trevino. Trevino, with a couple of birdies himself, shot a 1 under 69. He sits at 211 after 3 days. And not too far down the road is Ray Floyd. Here on 8, watch this. An incredible putt. Isn't that nice? Floyd with an even par on the day, but we must go back to Norman and where his troubles began. Here on the 13th, he irons out of the grass into an adjacent field. The shark looking more like a fish out of water, double bogeys. Norman does regain himself, though, by the 18th as he leads the field by 1 and says he can win the title tomorrow.
You pay your dues out here, and hopefully I've paid all my dues. And if I played as well as I played tomorrow as I played today, as Lee said, I'm in a good chance to win the tournament.
And as I was going to tell you, Greg Norman leading with a 71 today and a 210. Behind him is Lee Trevino at 211. Meanwhile, the Atlanta Braves hosting the last place Cincinnati Reds, a game that you would think that they would have an easy chance to win, and they let those two chances slip by. In the fourth, Atlanta scores first. Dale Murphy's single sends Omar Moreno home. The fans, well, let's take a look at the final there. That's 2-1, Atlanta winning that game. But if we could take a look at some of the highlights, there you go. It is Omar Moreno coming home. The fans, something to cheer about despite that 90-degree weather at Fulton County Stadium. And in the fifth, the Reds turn, no outs. Mario Soto at bat. He hits to Rafael Ramirez, who makes a play at first, but Bo Diaz does score. It's tied at 1. Then watch what may be the quickest glove in the West award, going to Reds pitcher Don Robinson. Here's another peek. Boy, he's got incredible reflexes. Watch this. That's about the only way you can see it in slow motion. He's probably saying, I saw it coming, no problem. Back to the ninth inning. After the Braves left 3 on in the 8th, a real tragedy. Eric Davis on second, stealing third. Ramirez miffs it. Davis easily comes home. The Cincinnati Reds down the Braves 2-1. Elsewhere in the National League, Pittsburgh a loser to New York 5-1. St. Louis beating Chicago. The Cubs' new coach, Gene Michael, thrown out of his very first game. Elsewhere on the day, Montreal falls to Philadelphia 7-6, and San Francisco in the 6th is losing to Houston 3-2. And getting caught up there, L.A. and San Diego just underway. In the American League, Toronto beating Detroit 6-5. Milwaukee shuts out Boston 2-0. New York a winner over Baltimore. Minnesota beats Cleveland. Texas loses to Oakland. Kansas City and California. Don Sutton did not win his 300th game. California wins anyway. Chicago a loser, losing to Seattle in the 3rd, 1-0. And when it comes to softball, things you usually think that it'd be a little bit slower than the major leagues. Not such the case at Lagoon Park today. The Blue-Gray fast pitch game tournament, they're going and whizzing that ball. 25 teams field be narrowed down by tomorrow after the lottery pick. That means the fans aren't enjoying what they're seeing. Here is the United Surgical team in the dark uniforms against Addison out of Addison, Alabama. United Surgical from Montgomery. They improved their record to 3-1 as they beat Addison 5-1 in this game. He is safe. The games continue beginning at 9 Sunday. The championship game is scheduled for 3 o'clock tomorrow. And on the other side of town, at the Montgomery Raceway, tonight the Miller American Spectacular brought some familiar faces to the track. A legend in racing, Red Miller.
2 or 3 different generations of drivers come and go, and the cars change from fuel-injected, super modified, to 34 coupes up to where we're running the late model T-Birds now. But I think everything changes for the better, and you've got to go with the times.
Miller's still to be reckoned with. He was racing against tonight. In fact, he's racing probably right now in the race that's going on, the final race, the feature race of the day. A lot of things going on today in sports.
Okay, Al, thanks a lot. We'll be back right after this.
Hey, buddy. Are you ready to buy a new car or truck? Well, get ready to get lost in the shuffle at some big dealership with fast-talking salesmen and high prices. But if you're ready for personal service, straight answers, and the lowest price, get ready to own a Collier Ford.
Hello, I'm Jimmy Collier. Come to Collier Ford in Wetumpka, and we'll show you what our family-owned dealership can do for you.
So if you're ready to own a new car or truck, get ready to own a Collier Ford. Highway 231, Wetumpka.
When you need a new roof, call Jones Brothers Roofing Company. Customers who start with us stay with us because they know they can count on Jones Brothers to install quality roofing at a sensible price. Jones Brothers installers are highly qualified. They adhere to our philosophy, no shortcuts. Quality roofing at a sensible price, whether it be a residential roof or a large installation like this one. So, remember, when you need a new roof, call Jones Brothers Roofing Company in Montgomery.
If you like today's weather, you're in luck. Looks like tomorrow's going to be another sunny day. But right now, here's a look at the current conditions in the capital city. Right now, it's 77 degrees outside. The humidity is 64%. The barometer's at 30.00 inches and steady. Winds are out of the southeast at 5 miles an hour. Look for fair skies tonight with a low in the mid-60s. For tomorrow, partly sunny skies with a high around 85 degrees. And there is a chance we could get some showers in the afternoon next week. That's news and weather for now. I'm Sally Lewis. Thanks for watching.
WKAB TV 32, Montgomery.